Okay. All right, Grant. I think that wraps up our news for today.
Oh man, okay.
You want to get into that top 10 list?
Let's do it, man.
It's the top 10 PlayStation 1 games of all time. The best.
Okay.
In our opinion.
In our opinion, yeah. Please say in our opinion. Otherwise, you'll be like, "Oh God!" Actually, you didn't put Bubsy 3D on there.
Sucks. Okay.
You didn't put Mortal Kombat Special Forces.
If anyone's in chat that is listening and wants to add what they think some of their favorite PlayStation 1 games are, throw it in chat.
Do it.
It might match up to some of ours.
Do it.
But it turns out that most of mine are RPGs. At least
6 of mine are RPGs.
Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 technically. Okay.
So we probably have a lot of the same ones, honestly.
All right, Grant, go ahead.
So how we're gonna do this? We're gonna go all of them, or am I gonna do my 10, your 10? How about we do it like that? Let's do it like that.
Your 10, my 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my 10, then you're gonna do your 10. Then we'll do it like that.
That's how we usually do it.
Okay.
Why are
I'm
we
setting
thinking about changing it up?
I'm setting the rules here.
No, we do this all the time. This is how we do it. This is how we do top 10 lists.
No. I'm not doing all 10 of them. What I'm saying is I'm going to say my number 10. You're going to say your number 10. Then I'm going to say my number 9. You're going to say your number 9.
Okay, well, that's not what you said originally. You said, I'm going to do my top 10 and you're going to do your top 10.
You're being too technical here. Okay. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Anyway. All right, my number 10. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Breath of Fire 3.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
All right. My number 10. Brave Fencer Musashi.
Okay.
It's
a good game. It's a good game. That one's not on my list.
It is on mine. I love that game.
Right, number 9.
Hold on.
Okay, we'll go. Let's discuss. Okay, go ahead.
Let's discuss. You just moving on.
Okay.
Not putting any substance in it.
Okay.
Why was that your number 10?
Because that was the first. Because I came off playing Breath of Fire 2 and I immediately got this game for the PlayStation.
Fire 2 was so good.
Yeah, it was good. And this game was the first one with like cinematics and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember playing the hell out of this game.
Yeah.
Dude, this game was good. Good game.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the same way. Breath of Fire 1, 2, and then 3 on PlayStation, but 2 was still to date one of my favorites on Super Nintendo.
And you can say Breath of Fire 4 as well. If you want to,
that was okay.
It's good. The story was. I'll say the story was better in Breath of Fire 4, but the gameplay in Breath of Fire 3 was better, and the characters.
Okay. Yeah, the characters were better. All right, Grant. Brave Fencer Musashi. I mean, there's not much else to tell it. Had a great action. It was kind of Square Enix's like action. It was an action RPG. Kind of over the top action RPG, but it was really good. I just liked the story, I liked the character, I liked the gameplay. And it was a cool take on actual Musashi. I thought it was just a fun game. All right, go ahead. Number 9.
Number 9, the original Silent Hill.
The original Silent Hill.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. This game was scary as fuck. Don't care. This game was probably the scariest game I ever played at that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you remember you're like walking down the street, you got like
it was messed up.
Yeah, like the characters were all
scarier than Resident Evil.
Yes.
Yeah. It was all about the horror thriller.
The fog, not knowing what's around the corner. You can hear something, but here's the thing: is you had a gun eventually. With like 7 bullets or whatever, but you had that stupid like stick with the nail in it.
Yeah,
and like a little bitty light, and like a very faint.
It was
light.
Just how everything moved.
Yeah,
like the creatures, how everything moved was just messed up.
You never saw anything. You haven't now. It's nothing, because you've seen far worse. But at that time,
time it was.
You never saw anything. Yeah. Like you remember like the creatures are all like bent over and broken in half.
Like weird.
So you see all that stuff now, and it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you never saw that before. You're like, oh shit, this is fucking.
You really never saw that on a video game.
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil was scary in some parts. It jumped scary in some parts, like the dogs jumping out the window, all that crap.
Yeah.
Or things chasing after you. But this was just the way the things looked.
Yeah.
And you didn't have much protection.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. My number 9, Grant, is Vagrant Story.
Okay.
Vagrant Story, kind of. I mean, I wouldn't say it's an underlooked RPG. Maybe at the time it was. I would say, but Vagrant Story just had such a great. It was the gameplay, but the story was so good. It was a little bit different take on your original. It's a different take from the Final Fantasies that we saw
Hmm.
during that time period. When it came to an RPG, and characters were great, story was great. I really enjoyed it, and I could not have this not on my top 10 list. It was such a great game
Yeah,
and
it's a
very
good game.
memorable. Grant, number 8.
Number 8, Lunar Silver Star Story.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Now this game, I remember when this game came out. You remember the big? It was like the oversized box. It was kind of like the box that was.
Yeah, the box was legit.
Yeah, it was huge. It was like
Yeah.
the box was huge, and like the game had like all kinds of it came with like so many collectibles and shit.
And it came with the anime that you would watch before you would play a certain part of the story.
Yep.
Remember that? Yeah.
And then you had like the cloth map.
Yeah,
dude, if I can find all that, I swear I probably have that somewhere in my house.
I know.
Still.
I got it somewhere, probably at my mom's house.
Yeah. But just the story, it was it was a great game. The story, the fighting,
simple
everything was
gameplay too, but good. Solid RPG.
And I'm going to be playing the whenever they bring it back.
Oh
That's
yeah,
coming up.
The remake or the remaster. I don't know what it is,
or whatever. I don't even know. Is it a remake or are they just bringing it back? Like I don't know.
I don't know, but I think it is a remaster, but not a remake.
It's not a remake, no.
Yeah. All right. What was that? Number 8, right?
Yep.
All right. Number 8 for me, Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid, dude. I love these Solid games, and I love the ones on what was it, Snake Eater and stuff like that, dude. But this one really put Metal Gear on the map because I played the original Metal Gears on was it Nintendo or Super Nintendo, right?
Oh god, the one on Nintendo was terrible.
Yeah, but I loved them, dude. I was always a big Solid Snake fan, everything like that.
Yeah,
but,
it was a good game.
But yeah, I mean, this is definitely probably.
So let me ask you a question.
What?
Because this game competed with Siphon Filter, dude. Yeah. Siphon Filter was man. What happened to that game?
Like, what even happened to this? Yeah, the series.
That game right there was
that's a Tom Clancy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. But this one, I like this one better.
Yeah,
I like the Metal Gear is always to me.
No, it's good.
Better because it's a little bit more. I guess you can say a little bit more supernatural because of the bosses you fight. They're not like regular people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number. What was it, 7? Right.
Yep.
All right.
No, number 8. That was number 8.
Number 8. All right. What's your number 7?
Number 7, the original Tomb Raider.
Oh damn.
The first Tomb Raider.
Yep.
And we're not talking about the ones that are out now.
Yeah.
So this game was cool because it was more like you had to fight stuff, but you didn't have to like fight like a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? It was always just like dogs and wolves and alligators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It really centered itself around being the first like archaeological puzzle type game.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Just trying to solve all the puzzles and stuff.
Do you think it would have caught so much attention and be where we're at today? Well, at least in the Survivor series and how good those games were too. Do you think we'd be at today if they decided, like when they originally were trying to create the game, if they decided to go with just a male type of Indiana Jones like character? You think they'd be like it would be today?
I think the games. I don't think it would be as famous as it would be. I think they would be. So no, I think of course, she makes them what they are.
Yeah.
Because of her character design, and again, sex sells.
Yeah.
Now the first one was kind of. They kind of toned her down. Like it wasn't as. The second one's when they like showed her up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super short. You know what I mean? It was like
that was the first game too.
Yeah. But no, I don't think it'd have been as successful.
Me either,
man.
But this is my number 7 also.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
That's cool. So I remember the part where you had like the King Midas hand or whatever. You like jump on it. You're not supposed to, but you did, and you turned to gold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the I guess the discovery portion of it, the
supernatural
discovery puzzle in action at the same time. Lara Croft, sexy, smart, great, awesome personality. How they created her.
I don't think I really cared about all that because I don't think I was into women at that point. Like I was still like video games when that
I
game came out.
was. What are you talking about?
I was like 12. I was still
Yeah.
trying to figure out what Power Ranger I want to be.
Oh yeah. No, Laura Croft was.
Nah, here's the thing: is I aged at a wonderful time. When I turned about 13, though, that's when it was.
That's only a year after the game came out.
I know. I'm telling you though.
I went back and played it.
Dude, I'm telling you, things change from 12 to 13.
Yeah,
You got 12-year-olds now watching porn. It's crazy.
that's crazy.
I know, man.
All right, Grant, number 6.
Number 6, the original Resident Evil.
That's good. Yep.
So this game's now I had the Resident Evil. Like I wish I could find it, man. If I can find the box, it was the big box. You remember they can't remember like the big old boxes. Yeah. And that's actually like a rare. Those are actually rare.
Played the live action, cinematic one, right?
Yeah.
Before they changed it after that, remember that?
Yeah. No, I remember that.
They released it later, but it only had CGI.
Yeah,
like it was weird.
And then the only thing I remember that I love the game. The game was the horror story. This reading all the notes that were freaky. Trying to find your way around the puzzle solving, the big plant.
Turn around the corner, zombies in your face. Yeah, dog jumping out the window. They got so many stuff. Chris Redfield, great character.
Yep, I remember you had to pick. Chris Redfield I remember he could hold more stuff. He had like 2 more item slots. Jill Valentine had the lock pick though, so she could open certain doors that he had to have a key for.
Yeah.
I think that was her advantage. I always play with her. I always play with Jill. I know you always probably played with Chris.
I always played with Chris.
I always thought Jill was cool. But yeah, no, dude, it was just the first being scared. Like that's the first game I ever played that made me feel like that. I've never played a game that made me feel scared before. It was
the first of its kind, really.
Yeah.
That type.
Yeah. Like no games like Castlevania, none of that stuff made you feel like that.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But
you
this.
saw everything on screen.
Yeah, exactly. This, man, I remember, there was times that I couldn't play the game. Like I'd have to stop playing it because I was so scared. Like I'd have to put the controller down and come back to it later. And I wouldn't play it at night. Never played it at night. Couldn't play it at night.
Dude,
couldn't do it.
That Resident Evil was like that. But then later on, when I got older, even the Dead Spaces, Dead Space games, those were 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I can't remember, 3 maybe. No, 1 and 2. But 1 was just, that shit was scary as hell too. Because you have the feeling of being alone in space.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling. And you got this laser cutter from the beginning. It takes forever to kill one monster at the beginning.
Yeah.
Till you get stronger. But yeah, it's funny you say Resident Evil, Grant, for your number 6. My number 6 is Resident Evil 2.
Okay. That's a good game. Great game.
Yeah. I liked it. Different because it brought you into the city and it expanded the story to where we got now because of all the lore you could find in the game. All that lore you actually find in Resident Evil 2 gave you a prelude to a lot of the future games.
Yeah.
It's smart how they did that. I don't know if they were planning on doing that or whatever, but Resident Evil 2 was just different. I thought Leon Kennedy was a great character introduced. And the game, it just expanded Resident Evil 1. That's why I didn't put Resident Evil there.
It was weird being in the police station. It was freaky being in the police station and stuff. And they had those lickers, the ones that those big tongues that rip your head off.
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was just, that was a good game.
Yeah, great game. All right, Grant, you're number 5.
Number 5, Xenogears.
Damn, look at you bringing the heat.
Oh, man. Xenogears, a game that still holds up.
Yeah,
and it probably could be a top 10 RPG to this day, if you lay it out. This game was the first game that I played where you can actually fight. What was the guy's name? Fei? Was his name Fei Wulong or whatever?
Yeah, Fei Wulong. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so you fought with him, but it was cool fighting with him because you had different moves when he was a person. But then when you got into the Xenogear, you fought with that. And dude, that was cool, man.
What was the guy? What was the doctor's name with the sword? Damn,
God, I can't remember.
I love playing him, dude. He could cut up some mechs.
Dude.
You could fight with just your party, against big mechs,
mm-hmm.
and he could just cut them up because he had skills that were specific for just shredding mechs and stuff like that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's such a great game. Like it's so surprising they haven't brought that back. It's really surprising they haven't brought that back.
That's a big game. They should be.
It,
Yeah, they should
but
be
you think
bringing it back.
about the story, and it has a religious tone to it. I wonder if they are scared to bring it back.
I wish they would just even let you just download it just to play it, the old one. I don't even care. Just let you get it and play it.
Yeah, I mean they
You know?
really should.
Yeah.
But if there's a remaster like Star Wars and Second Story they need to do next, it is Xenogears, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing they haven't brought that. Bring that to let people nowadays play it. You know what I mean? Yeah. What was that? Number 5, right?
Number 5.
Number 5? Oh, okay. My number 5, Grant, is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Final Fantasy Tactics. Okay.
Final Fantasy Tactics, dude. Ramses and Delita. I mean, the story for Final Fantasy Tactics. Like, remember even the opening scene. When they're running the Chocobos.
Yeah.
Like that CGI was so awesome.
Yeah.
And the music throughout the entire game was great. The summonings were cool. The spells were like flashy, pixelated type of spells.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that game was great. But the story, dude, the story was phenomenal. The bad guy turn of Delita. This was before Games of Thrones.
Yeah.
This game had a Games of Thrones like story, like big time.
Yep.
With the struggle of the kingdoms and stuff like that, and all the backstabbing and all that stuff in it too. But yeah, it's such a great game, and it really revolutionized, I would say. I mean, again, you had the Ogre Battle and a lot of other games before that, but it really brought the tactics games on the map, put it on the map. But yeah. Okay, Grant. Number 4.
Number 4 is Final Fantasy Tactics.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. So this was the first tactics game that I played. I mean, I know they had like Ogre Tactics and all this other stuff. I played those games. I didn't get into those games. I guess it's because of the story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was a huge Final Fantasy, and I still am. But at the time, I was a huge Final Fantasy guy. And on top of the tactics, they just made it work. They made it work well. I always try to get the calculator. What was it? The calculator class, whatever it was.
Class.
And then I noticed like it was like way too, like you had to like level like everything up to, and I was like, nah, this ain't gonna do all that. Fuck all that. Like
that they could have just wipe a map.
Dude. That thing was cheat mode,
insane.
Man.
Once you knew how to play it, got the skills and everything, they would just wipe the map.
Yeah, dude, that was a cheat mode, man. But it was one of those things like you had to like be.
What was that guy's name with Excalibur? The old guy, Orlean
or something like that. Yeah,
yeah, something like that. I love those moves, and even the Dark Knight guy, like those sword moves are so awesome.
Yeah.
Then you got the girl too that could do that also.
I used to hate
Holy Swordsman is what it was. Yeah.
The game's not easy. It could be difficult. It can be difficult. You know what I mean? Because especially if you don't play your moves right, because it's kind of like chess in a way.
It's probably difficult for a lot of people at first because it was a tactics game.
Yeah.
It's different. Like if you're a Final Fantasy fan, this is a different game.
I hated the enemy archers because they would hit you from all the way across. I'd be like, oh God, he's going to hit me from all the way over there. And he would.
Or the stone throw.
Yeah, he would shoot
whatever it was. I hated that crap.
He would shoot you from halfway across the screen,
and at the beginning when you're fighting like the weak guys, they throw those stones at you. But
the
like
goblins.
5 of them would throw it at one of your characters and be dead.
Yeah,
stones. Yeah, I hated that. But yeah, great game. Grant, what my number 4 is?
What?
Xenogears.
Okay.
Yeah, everything we just discussed about it. Great story. The characters, great. Oh, but the anime CGI was great. That was like one of the, not the first, but the best we saw on PlayStation 1. Until some others came out after that. But when it came to animation, because it had the anime actual CGI, the cutscenes to it.
Yeah.
And those were great. The bad guy was great. The mech mix of combat was insane. The last time they again did that was in Xenoblade Chronicles X, which has nothing to do with Xenogears.
Yeah.
But it's a Xenoblade that came after the first one, Xenoblade Chronicles. But it was called Chronicles X. And that one you could fight on the ground or in a mech.
That's cool.
That was really a low key, really good game that I really enjoyed too. But yeah, Xenogears was phenomenal, man. Great story. Still, they need to bring it back. All right, Grant. Number 3.
Number 3, Star Ocean, the second story.
Yep.
This game, and it could actually be it would actually be number 2 if it wasn't for number 2. This RPG, when I played it, I was hooked from the beginning, from being able to craft, from the story, from being able to do all the solo stuff, going into towns and stuff like that. The side people, like those, the side party members and stuff, like Ashton and Opera and all them. Man, from top to bottom, just from there's no flaws in this game, man. A lot of people will say, well, nah, man, just from top to bottom, the story was immaculate because he gets stranded on the planet, the unnamed planet or whatever, and
it felt like a sci-fi opus, a magnum opus. It was just insane. The story, like
you had to fight the wise men.
Go to this medieval-like planet, not well developed, but then you mix sci-fi and like both together. It was really well done.
Because you had to like hide your little your phaser gun or whatever,
because you were just one-shotting things at the beginning. Yeah,
and they called you, was it the Hero of Light or whatever?
Yeah,
something.
Yep.
Man, great game.
Yeah, combat too. I love the little pixelated guys running around that you could just move around and fight. That was great.
Like I liked like all the alchemy, like trying to make all the stones and stuff for your swords and getting a better sword and all this other stuff, man. Stealing.
Yep.
Man, it was great, fantastic game, man. Like, and then the remake the remaster that they did was just as great. And they even added some cool stuff to it, but it was great, man.
Yeah, they really did.
All right. It.
My number 3, Grant. My number 3. Check this one out. Okay. My number 3, what I went with was Legend of Dragoon.
I was going to put that on my list. It's my honorable mention. Good game.
Legend of Dragoon. One of the most underlooked RPGs of all time.
Underrated game.
And it's funny because I remember I bought it when it first came out. I didn't see nothing on it. I just saw it at the store. It wasn't Squaresoft. You know what I mean?
No.
It wasn't Squaresoft, but I saw it and it looked good. I just turned the back of the case and saw. So, I want to play this. I'm going to buy it. But Legend of Dragoon was...
You never rented games. I never understood that about you. You never rented games. But you buy them most of the time. You'd be like, hey, I just bought this game.
RPGs I bought.
Yeah.
I did buy RPGs. A lot of other stuff I just rented. But Legend of Dragoon is one of the most underlooked RPGs of all time.
It is.
It really is. And it was such a fantastic story, great characters, good combat. And I don't know, man. Like, I just thought this was a fantastic RPG, and still, to date, I think is one of the top RPGs of all time.
Yeah.
Like, if you gave me a list of top 20 RPGs of all time, Legend of Dragoon would be on it.
Yeah.
Of everything.
Yep.
But yeah, that's my number 3.
You ready for number 2?
Number 2,
Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Nah, that's your number 2, isn't it?
That's my number 2.
Well, let's discuss it. We'll go ahead and discuss it then, both of us. This game was the first Metroidvania game. This is where Metroidvania got its name from.
Yeah.
Well,
I was always a huge fan of Castlevania.
Yeah, correct.
Like, I played just about every Castlevania besides some of the ones on Game Boy up to this point. I loved Castlevanias. And when I found it wasn't a Belmont, I was like, hold on. It's not a Belmont? That can't be true. But boy, did it change. It changed the 2D platform, or not 2D platform, but 2D games like that. Like, like you said, Metroidvania, where it came from.
Like, I remember when you first started with Alucard and he was all powerful, you're like, man, this game's going to be easy. And then he took all the stuff away, and then you're like, man, I got this
everything away.
I got this little fucking dagger. It sucks.
The beginning's tight too, though. Like, you play with Richter.
Yeah.
And you fight Dragon at the very beginning.
Did you ever play as Richter? I never played Richter. And you could put in the code, help me or whatever, and you could play as Richter or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah. I never did that.
No, I never did that either.
But
I do have the game on my PlayStation. I might try it and see, because you can apparently you can just zoom through it. Like, you can one hit everything.
Oh, probably, yeah. But as you play through, you get stronger, more abilities. The RPG mechanics also mixed into this Metroidvania. So it's Metroidvania and RPG put together,
Yeah.
really. But you really can't say much about it, dude. I mean, just a great
It's a classic game. It is.
great
It is.
game,
It is a god tier game,
and you can
so to
go
speak.
back to play right now.
Yeah, and they've made all their Castlevanias like this ever since.
Yeah, majority of them.
Majority of 90% of them.
Yeah, and I mean, they really should. Think there hasn't been a mainline Castlevania game in forever.
No, you would think you would have thought with the
But we
Netflix
talked
series and
about this
stuff.
before because there's so many of these, Metroidvania, these smaller companies that are getting big now, making these fantastic Metroidvania games.
Yeah.
Ori and Ender Lilies and all these other
I'm
ones.
gonna play some of those. I'm out there, but I don't have Steam and all that, man. I got to get Steam because my computer can't
Ori's
run it.
should be on console.
Okay.
That one has like a good story to it.
When I get my new computer, I'm going to be getting a lot more Steam games because there's a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, so I don't know if they're scared or they're just waiting. But they really should make a new gen something like Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
Just up to date. And maybe, because they're the ones that, Konami, they're the ones that did Metroidvania.
Yeah.
So they should be, hey, you know what? We put it on the map. We're going to make something different.
Yeah.
We're going to create something new that's going to create another genre. But, who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? That's number 2, right? Yeah.
That's number 2. Man, we got the same number 1. Doesn't matter.
We know what the number 1 is.
We already know what it is.
We already know what number 1.
Here we go. Number 1.
Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy 7.
I mean, come on.
Man.
That's just too easy.
Yes.
Yeah, if you guys haven't checked our last podcast out, go check it out. We do a tier list of Final Fantasy games. There's actually, if you don't want to watch the entire podcast, I made a video of just the tier list under our videos category.
Which is just as long as the podcast.
Yeah, it's like half the podcast. That was a long-ass podcast.
That was good. That was good, though.
But yeah, go check the tier list out where we rank all the mainline Final Fantasies, 1 through 16 in a tier list. It's pretty good. And of course, 7, go ahead and tell you right off the bat, it got God mode. Yeah. But 7, it broke the mold, man. It's ever since after 7 came out, everyone wanted to be like them.
Yep. This was the first 3D
This
Final
was
Fantasy.
Squaresoft's prime.
Yeah.
This was like right after 6 too. So you had 6 and 7, both God tier games.
Yep.
Back to back. This is Squaresoft.
Yeah.
This is one they were just, like we said before, you saw a Squaresoft game, you bought it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Automatically knew it was going to be good.
And this was also after Chrono Trigger 2, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those 3 trifectas, dude.
Yep.
That's crazy. 3 of the best games ever made.
Yep.
But now Square Enix is, I don't know what they've done, man. They got some hits. They got some hits still nowadays, but then they got some bad misses, dude.
Yeah, they're kind of like the band that that could still rock out when they need to.
Yeah.
But kind of puts out some filler stuff from time to time.
You still got some of the OGs from back then still on teams, but they're, I don't know how they got them spread out. But yeah, I mean, like you had Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 7. What else? You had some few others in there. I can't think of the top of my head, but I mean, they were just great. I mean, of course, Final Fantasy 4 way before that, but yeah, Squaresoft really hit it. And this one, again, like we said before, CGI. Everyone wanted to copy the CGI. They were like, okay, we need to make games with great stories and then also great gameplay, but also we wanted to have CGI like Final Fantasy VII did.
Yep.
And you saw that a lot after that. Like games really amped up their CGI after that.
Man, man. I mean, here's the thing: is like we could sit there and go on and on and on and talk about. Most of y'all know about Final Fantasy VII. Y'all played it. Y'all played the remake and stuff like that. Here's the thing: is if you've never played the classic one, go back and play the classic one.
Yeah. If you're younger and you never played a classic and you just played like the Rebirth or remake, whatever. You really got to play the classic, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's you got to remember, remake, Rebirths, both great games, but they are copying a story. Mm-hmm. Like they're not original games. They're copying the baseline, which is Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 1.
Yep.
And that created everything. That game is why you have so many movies from Final Fantasy VII, so many offbeat games from Final Fantasy VII, like the Dirge of Cerberus, Crisis Core, We got Advent Children movie, and I think there was something else before that or something like that, or something similar to it. But everything is because of this base game. Is why Final Fantasy is so widely popular and so many people love these characters. Is because of the base game.
Yep.
All right, Grant.
That's it.
That's a good top 10 list, buddy.
Sure was, man.
A lot of RPGs, but hey,
Yep.
that's how it is.
Hey.
Squaresoft killed it. All right. All right, Grant, let's go and wrap it up, buddy.